Hey buddy, hope you're traveling well. Last couple of weeks we are talking about winter Ladakh, and this week we'll talk about how to prepare for a winter Ladakh trip. Most of you know that there are only two ways to reach Ladakh on land. One is through the Manali Leh Highway, and the other one is via the Srinagar Leh Highway. Both highways have high passes to cross. The Srinagar Leh Highway is open comparably longer into the winter till about November, as it stands at a height of 3,528 meters. This year, being one of the driest winter with no snowfall at all till the end of January, it was open until the last week prior to making this video. On the other hand, the Manali Leh Highway is the one that shuts down first, with Baralachala standing at almost close to 5,000 meters. It gets snowed out much earlier than Zojila. In spite of global warming sort of helping the roads to stay open much longer in winter than they are supposed to be, and the BRO trying all it could to keep the roads open for as long as possible, winter Ladakh is still reachable only by air. If you're flexible with dates, you can fly Delhi Leh in less than 3,500 rupees, and the normal flight cost in winter is just around 5,000. But sometimes it can get exorbitant, like unbelievably high to about 10 to 15,000 when the demand is high. Of all the things, flight charges are ones that I think I will never understand.
Just landed in Leh and it's a bloody minus 18.
Minus 15 to about minus 20 degrees centigrade. Those are the sort of temperatures you will be thrown into when you land in Leh. Unless and until you're already used to that sort of cold, it could be scary. The first thing you would need is a down jacket with a hoodie similar to the one I'm wearing. This particular one, it's made by Simons, which is available in Decathlon. When I bought it, it was about 10K, and at the moment, I think it's selling at about 13,000. Works great till minus 30. I've personally used it till minus 35, and this is not a paid promotion. It's something that I use. That's it. If you don't have a good down jacket, then you will need a multi-layered clothing, starting with a fleece and then a sweater and then a cost-effective down jacket like the one that you see here. Cold hits your fingers and toes the most, so covering your hands and feet are of primary importance. So in addition to the jacket, you will need woolen socks and a good pair of shoes. So add a pair of gloves to it. The hand warmers or chauffeurs that you see here would be of great help. These are use and throw warmers, and it can be easily used and works really well. You might not need the 10-hour one, but the 6-hour one should be fine. And a pack of 10 is about 400 rupees in Decathlon again. In winter, most hotels and homestays are heated. The mid range to high end ones have central heating, whereas the more modest ones are equipped with tower heating, at least these days. But make sure that the accommodation is heated, because you might be tolerant to cold during the day, but a cold, sleepless night will negatively impact the rest of your trip. See, the basic heated accommodations would cost you about 1,500 to 2,000 per room. The mid-end ones would be about 5,000, and the high-end one starts at 8,000 and goes all the way up. There are two things that you need to have in mind here. See, all the Swiss tents in Nubra Valley and in Pangong will be closed after late September. Only a few homestays will be available in Nubra Valley, and as of Jan 2024, there is only one homestay in Tangse that I saw which was open. Of course, you know Tangse is the closest village to Pangong, and that is the only available option if you want to stay in Pangong. So, if you're going to Nubra or Pangong, just be sure where you're staying beforehand. Nevertheless, you can make a day trip to both these destinations if you start early, and you can get back to Leh by evening. During winter, I wouldn't advise anyone to rely on online aggregators to book their accommodations, because most of the time I've seen properties being closed in winter in spite of a confirmed booking. So even if you book through them, make sure to contact the property directly beforehand. Anywhere about 10,000 feet in the Himalayas, there is always a chance of snowfall in winter. Even though this year was the driest winter in over a decade, there were mild snowfall spells both in Kardungla and Changla when I went there in January 24. This year could be a worst case scenario, but generally the possibility of a heavy snowfall cannot be taken for granted. So, as a rule of thumb, it's always better to have at least one backup day for every 4 to 5 days. especially if you intend to cross Kardungla to get to Nubra or cross Changla to get to Pangong. It is advisable to have one or preferably two backup days. All might be well when you leave, but then the road might be closed when there's a snowfall when you're heading back. So always have a couple of days as backup unless and until you want to take the chances with missing your return flight. Let's start with what's a strict no. If you aren't used to riding a motorcycle below -10, don't even think about hiring a bike for your winter Ladakh trip. It might be way cheaper than a car, but it is going to be extremely difficult. See, a -15 with headwinds is exponentially more difficult than one with relatively static air. So a car becomes the only logical mode of transport, and moreover, cars have heaters that push the temperature up by at least 5 or 6 degrees than what it is outside. I'm leaving two of my friends' numbers in the descriptions. Fantastic drivers. Both have their own cars. One has an Ertiga and the other one has a Xylo. You can always call them and refer my name. Call them and they would be more than happy to help you. And sometimes you might get lucky enough to get a car below the union rates from a driver who's sort of desperate for an off-season buck. So that's with the preparations that you need to make for a winter Ladakh trip. See you next week with a new video. Until then, travel more, travel safe. See you, buddy.